What if someone comes in?
Hello? Anyone here? Anyone?
You just have an answer for everything, don't you?
How has Hardin changed since the first movie?
He's changed a lot. He'll change throughout the process of the second one too, but he's changed a lot even in the time that we don't see. So from the end of the first one to the start of the second, it's not a long period of time, but he's definitely evolved in that time, and you can see it from the first scene you see of him in the second one. You can see he's changed a little bit and continues to throughout the course of the film.
And how has Hero changed since the first movie?
Do you know what? I don't think I've changed at all, I'd like to think. But how I deal with everything to do with the film and to do with everything that's happened has changed a lot. For example, on the first one, it was a lot more overwhelming. I was kind of like counting down the days and minutes, and this one has just flown by because we just got here. It was nice to see all the same people, nice to just get stuck in again. So I think the biggest change is my ease and enjoyment of the whole process because I'm more familiar with it now.
How has been the most challenging part of playing Hardin to date?
I think the just extremity of his emotions. Like he's in both films. There's a lot of he's an emotional person who goes to those lengths, and as an actor, you know, it's obviously can be daunting to do that stuff, but it's ultimately what you want to do to prove yourself as an actor, those kind of things. So I think it's the most challenging, but also it's exactly what you want. Those big dramatic scenes, they're challenging but fun.
Is it nice to have someone like Dylan Sprouse around this time?
Oh, definitely. To be similar in age and for him to be so much more experienced than me, it's really nice to work with people who have that. Obviously, there's a lot to learn from them. He's a great, funny guy. I actually met him earlier, a few months before we started filming, going to a Ferragamo fashion show, and got to know him and his brother a little bit then. So it was really cool that he joined the cast because I had no idea when I first met him, neither did he. So it was really nice for many reasons.
Do you see yourself playing Hardin for a third time?
Well, yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, I do. I think it will happen, I believe, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I want you to tell me the best and the worst thing of the huge success that you have achieved with the first movie.
I don't know if I can do like best and worst, but one of the best things is the platform that this has given me to just as a launch pad for my career is incredible, and I'll forever be grateful for Anna Todd and her fan base for giving me that platform. And the worst thing, I can't complain. The worst thing, maybe just like small sacrifices you make with like being recognised and those kind of things. But listen, yeah, it's nothing in comparison. So,
what do you enjoy most while filming a movie? In general.
I like the fact that you get to know and work with other people. It's kind of like a group project where you go through tough times and disagree and stuff, and by the end you come out as like, you know, good friends who went through beep together kind of thing. So there's a nice kind of family feel to it all, and the fact we've come back next year, it's really cool to have the same group of people. That, and just when you're in a scene acting, in between the words action and cut, it's probably the most enjoyable time for me.
In your own words, what can we expect from this second of the movie as fans?
I think it's like your first question, the evolution of not just Hardin but Tessa too, and their relationship. We just keep telling the story. Yeah, both of them change a lot, and it's just really interesting to see them go about that. So yeah, the evolution of the characters is ultimately what I love most about this film.
¡Que se abre la puta puerta!
Es Hardin, Scott.
Hardin, tienes dos opciones. O me follas o te largas. Tú decides.
Anna, did you expect to be here shooting another installment of the After story?
I did, I'm not gonna lie, just because of the success of the first one and how many people were so excited for it. I kind of knew, I mean, of course there was a little bit of doubt, but I pretty much knew, given how loved the first movie was, that we would be back this summer. So I pretty much went right to planning this one.
The first movie of After was your first time working on a movie. Do you feel more confident now?
Yes, definitely feel a lot more confident. I've learned a lot. I'm still learning every single day, but I try to be as involved and see what's happening behind the scenes as much as possible, so then I can just take more from every time I'm on set. But I definitely have learned a lot this year.
How have Tessa and Hardin evolved from the first plot?
A lot. I mean, we see Tessa becoming a woman, essentially. She has an internship now. She's not hanging out at the campus. She's making new friends in Kimberly and people at her new job. She's just more sure of what she wants. I mean, at the same time, she's not. She goes back and forth, but she's evolved a lot. Hardin has evolved, but he's almost a little bit gone backward just because we are showing more of the darkness in Hardin this time and the complications that he's had in his life, and we're bringing more of his backstory since this movie is his point of view. So in a way he's regressed a little, but he evolved so much over the course of this one film that they're both changing a lot.
In this new movie, there's a new character which is a little bit problematic, and it's called Trevor. What can you tell us about him?
I am so happy with the performance and the kind of way Dylan Sprouse has brought Trevor alive. In the book, I don't really love Trevor, even though I made him, but he drives me crazy because he's just always in the way. But in the film, I'm almost rooting for him in a way. Obviously, I love Hardin, but Trevor as Dylan is just... It's so good. He killed it. It was really great.
Did you find some sort of inspiration for your new stories after all what happened with the first After movie?
Yeah. I learned never to write a book about a bunch of tattoos because when you try to film it, it is crazy. I realistically have just thought more in terms of not only keeping the story on the page. So when I'm writing, I'm not... It's hard to explain without giving specific scenes, but just in a way I'm just thinking from a film point of view as well now, which is really fun and almost like a writing exercise for me, to where I was so used to writing the other way that now I'm thinking more in scenes and how things could be adapted.
Would you like to develop the story of Tessa and Hardin more, or would you like to move on to another things?
Both.
Okay.
Right now I'm so in the middle of Tessa and Hardin from what I did, 5 years ago. So at the moment, I'm so satisfied with this, but I do have a lot of material that I've written just for myself, because I just have random things sometimes where I think of them or think of someone in the story and write it, that eventually I might show the readers, but I also don't want to be that person that just keeps milking the same thing. So I would love to make these films as best as possible and focus on my other books for now. And then if there's another After book in a few years or so, I'm not going to say no now, but I can't promise.
So that was my next question. Do you see After as a film franchise or not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. We killed it in the first one. The second one, the film is significantly different, but in the best way. We've really kind of raised the stakes and just brought an entirely different feel to it. So if they loved the first one, and even the people who didn't love the first one, when you watch this film, I'm so confident in what we've done that I definitely think it's a franchise for sure. And I also think we'd have a lot of angry fans if we just stopped after this film, especially because this one is just so great from both characters.
I don't want you to spoil this new movie, but what can we expect from it different from the book?
Just a couple of the storylines of side characters. It's really hard when you have an ensemble type cast, when there's so many characters. In the book, everyone has such a developed backstory in future and present, but you just can't do that on film because this is, at the end of the day, about Hardin and Tessa. And as much as I love these characters and it killed me to kill them off, essentially, we just can't have that many storylines in a film. And for me, the things that have changed, without spoiling anything, is just only to make the story better and to make the best film. Because as much as I know and I love the books, obviously, but I also want to make the best film. So anything that didn't make it is just for that purpose of this is the best version of the film.